Hi, welcome to Cooking with Claudio. Today we're going to make a keto-friendly apple pie. 'Tis the season for some great apples, and we happen to have a great friend who owns an apple orchard. We went out and picked our own apples. We picked a bunch of them. These are unwashed. We have some washed over there and already cut up for this apple pie, but this is going to be a keto-friendly version for us. We're going to start out with some simple ingredients that you can buy. We're going to use some almond flour. That's going to be a substitute for regular flour. There's going to be 2.5 cups of that. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of salt. We're going to do 3/4 cup of melted Crisco shortening, which we've already have melted here. And you can double this recipe to make crusts for the top and the bottom. Okay, and here we have our 2 1/4 cups of our almond flour. We have our 1 tablespoon of salt in there, and we're going to add our 3/4 cup of melted shortening right into the mix. There we go. And 5 tablespoons of cold water. And we're going to mix that right up. Okay, we've mixed it up to a nice consistency. We're going to take this out of our bowl here. We're going to split this into two nice little balls here. And part of this is going to be for our top, and part of this is going to be for our bottom. And what we're going to do, roll this right out, get this into a nice little flat crust, so that way we can put it into the dish. And then we're going to pre-bake this for 10 minutes so that it doesn't come mushy. If you don't pre-bake it, your bottom crust will come mushy because once we add the apples to it, so we just want to make sure that we can do that, and then we can add it into our dish. We've pressed the crust into the plate so that it looks like this, and now we're just going to bake this for 10 minutes. We have our oven set to 350, and we have it on convect. If you have a convection oven, cooks it nice and evenly, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, simply we're going to cut some apples. These apples, a little bit smaller in size, but really fresh, really great. I'm going to show you an easy way to cut apples. You're going to slice a small bit off the top and a small bit off the bottom, so that way when you are peeling them, it peels nice and easy. If you don't have one of those fancy apple peelers, you could do it the old-fashioned way with a knife. Doesn't really take a lot of time. Pretty simple. Okay. And what we're going to do, take our apple corer. Real simple. Going through. And we're going to add our apples to our bowl. We've used a little bit of lemon because as you're cutting apples, the apples do have a tendency to turn a little bit brown. Doesn't affect them at all, but the lemon juice keeps them a little bit more white. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, and that's what our crust looks like. I'm just going to take that out of our oven. Okay, for our apple mixture, we're going to use 1 cup of our sugar substitute. You can use monk fruit. Today we used Swerve. Add that. We're going to add 1 half teaspoon of maple extract. We have 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. And we have 2 tablespoons of our almond flour. Okay, we're going to mix that up before we add our apples. And then right to that mixture, we're going to add in this case it came out to be about 12 apples, a little bit smaller apples, so we used about 12 of them. We're going to add them directly into our mixture. And just mix them all up. Apples. Want to make sure the apples are all nice and coated. Okay, we're going to take our apple mixture over to our pre-baked crust. Remember, we bake that for about 10 minutes to give it a nice base. Now we're going to add our apples. We're going to fit as many as you can because these are going to soften and then collapse into the nice creamy apple pie. Okay. Okay, that looks about good. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the lattice work with our other ball of the crust that we made, and we're going to add that right to the top. Okay, we took our other ball of crust and I just rolled it out as thin as I could get it. That's one nice little sheet here. And now we're going to decorate the top of the pie. We're going to just grab some strips of this. We're going to lift them up and we're just going to decorate the top of the pie. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just okay, folks, and there it is. Just a word of warning, the almond flour makes it just a little bit more, is a little more delicate than regular flour, and it does tend to crumble a little bit, but this is going to come out spectacular. We're now going to take it, we're going to pop it into our oven. Again, at 350 on convect for 45 minutes. And here's our finished product, folks. Once again, keto-friendly apple pie. I'd like to thank the owner of Orchard Farms, East Lyme, Connecticut, for the apples. They're fantastic. Can't wait to dig into this thing. Hey, and don't forget, hit subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing, and you'll be able to see what we have on tap for next week. Thank you.